So, we're back for another episode. I hope you like the llama hat. If you're not watching and you're just listening, I'm wearing a hat that has like a little llama on it, and I really like it. So silly. Today, we're going to talk about what happens if you don't get fit and healthy, but also what does happen when you do get fit and healthy. So, the inspiration for today's podcast is listicles. It's a listicle idea. And I want to talk about the incentives of what happens when you get fit and healthy. Why should you get fit and healthy? You know you should do it, but these are the incentives. And then we invert it, and we're actually going to start with the inversion. And so these are the incentives of what happens if you don't get fit and healthy. Because every single trainer, podcaster, influencer tells you exactly why you need to get into shape. Right? On this podcast myself, I've talked about longevity, energy, looking good naked. However, maybe we're going about this wrong. I will not have a job when everyone is fit and healthy, so I will always have a job. Maybe you do those things because maybe you want to get into shape because of those aspects, right? More longevity, more energy, looking better naked. Or maybe you want to avoid the pain, avoid the lows. And so if your goal is to feel incredibly unhealthy and have a low expectancy in life, whether it's quantity, quality, and you want to have a shorter, worse life, then you shouldn't get into shape. And so this is your incentive to not get into shape. So how to guarantee a shorter, worse life? So if you want to maximize your misery, you have to commit. You can't just skip the gym once. You need to make it an inactive core personality trait. And here are the things that you'll be amazed at when you completely ignore your health. First off, you're going to accelerate your aging. When you were 12, you probably really wanted to be 20. Well, now that you're 20, I'm sure you can't wait to be 70. So why wait until your 70s to feel frail when you can just avoid lifting weights, eat ultra processed garbage, and you'll feel 70 by the time you hit 35. You'll get to experience the thrill of aging at such a faster rate. Imagine groaning every time you stand from a chair, for example. Sounds phenomenal. You'll watch your muscles just waste away, ensuring your metabolism slows down to an absolute crawl. You're going to be on the fast track to bone density loss, meaning a simple slip on ice could shatter your hip and take decades off, which is obviously what we want to do. Now, there's going to be the joy of constant unexplained pain, which you will experience as you get older, and if you don't do anything about it, it only gets worse pain and it only comes on quicker. So moving property requires strength and mobility. By actively avoiding the gym, you ensure that your posture collapses. Your shoulders will roll forward, your low back constantly aches, and your neck will feel like it's carrying cinder blocks. You will get to wake up every morning wondering what you did in your sleep to cause random joints to hurt. By eating heavy, carb-loaded breakfast, lunch, and dinner with minimal protein, you will guarantee a massive brain crash all day long, on and off, just riding that high. You'll process information slower, forget important details, watch your sharper, fitter coworkers easily outpace you in business and in life. If you have kids, great, you get to be a spectator now on the sideline. Kids have boundless energy. They want to wrestle, sprint, and play. But if you play your cards right and you stay out of shape, you'll never have to join them, right? You get to sit on the sidelines watching them grow up from the comfort of a lawn chair because your knees can't handle jogging across the yard. You will successfully teach them that physical decline is normal and passing on your bad habits to the next generation, right? So this is obviously a joke, and it might have felt a little uncomfortable, me going through all of those great things that you get by not working out, because it is a hyperbole, but that's the reality that most people are choosing when they choose to be inactive every single day. right? Every time you skip a workout, every time you vote for that miserable, weak version of yourself, every time you eat garbage, every time you're stealing time from yourself, energy and money from your future self. Yes, and money. So let's flip the script. Let's talk about what happens when you actually take time out of your schedule to buy back ownership of your own physical vehicle. When you actually put the reps in, physical fitness becomes the highest return on investment that you will ever possibly make in your life. You could make billions of dollars, and on your deathbed, you'd rather be 20 and poor. That is the argument I would make, that health is actual wealth. The point of money is to buy back time and to buy back your health, essentially. And what's the point of trading your health and your time for wealth when you can't then buy it back later on? And so you can't print more time, but you can buy it back. And not just buying it back with money for a service, but building muscle and having a better cardiovascular system is an insurance policy against chronic disease. Muscle mass is the currency of aging. The more lean tissue you hold onto, the harder you are to kill. You radically drop your risk of any metabolic syndrome, heart disease, and diabetes. You're literally pushing those extra decades of aging further down the line, and you're going to shrink it. So for example, most people, let's say they get to age 90 to live. The average person who's not working out around age 60 is already going to feel pretty old. Their knees are shot. They're thinking about, okay, in the next 5 to 10 years, I need a joint replaced. I don't have the energy anymore. I'm retired, but do I really want to travel? You know, I'm starting to have some grandkids, and I don't have the energy to hang out with them. And for the next 30 years, you're already a senior. Others, if you have been working out throughout your 20s, 30s, 40s, it's never too late to start. You push it down to 65, 70, 75, 80. It's insane. Whenever you see an old person at the gym, you should go up to them and ask them what they've done. And they were like, I came to the gym 3 to 5 times a week, work out an hour, I don't go too hard, I just don't miss it. And they look phenomenal for their age. There's so much that they can do. I remember meeting an 85-year-old who said he still comes to the gym and does a couple chin-ups. And I watched him. They weren't full range of motion. That's not the point. He's doing some chin-ups. Tell me the last time you saw an 85-year-old do that. And tell me how much more joy they're going to have out of life because they can actually live the life that they want to live. And not only are you purchasing more time down the future, it compresses how you're going to die. It shortens from getting sick to actual death, most likely. And it also extends it out further. On top of that, you get to enjoy your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s so much more. Even if it was 10% more per decade, that's a massive trade-off. And it's not that. You're going to be operating at 100% capacity. You know what you're like when you're sick and you're operating at like 70, 80% capacity? It sucks. And when you're old, frail, you're way more likely to get sick. Now, imagine yourself at that age, but you're operating at 100%. It is so much different, right? When you're dialed in with your training, your nutrition, your baseline energy just skyrockets. You're going to have new normals. You're going to stop waking up feeling like you got hit by a truck. You're going to have proper strength to help stabilize your joints, eliminate your low back pain. You're going to move throughout the world without any friction. So to just sacrifice, it doesn't even have to be an hour, a half hour, 40 minutes, a couple times a week, for hard, deliberate work, you're actually making your life much easier. You have the stamina to dominate a 12-hour workday and hit the gym and still feel fine. You're not going to do that on the regular, but you could do that if you had to. 8 hours of work, maybe a couple hours of errands, maybe you have to play with the kids at some point, hang out with your spouse. Your battery just gets bigger and you can actually do more rather than just sit on the couch all the time. Fitness is a cheat code for professional success as well. Anybody who takes their fitness to a relatively high level in their current job, they go from putting in the bare minimum to being able to handle a higher capacity of workload. They think quicker. You have what's called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. This grows new neural pathways. You'll think faster and handle stress better. So furthermore, you're going to be able to handle more at work. Success leaves clues. When people see a fit, capable person, they just assume you're disciplined, So yes, you will get some of that halo treatment at all. They know that you do not take the easy way out. Bosses, partners, and clients trust people who look like they can handle heavy workloads. So your physical presence becomes a walking billboard for your ethic, work ethic. And you just build this unbreakable mind. The physical changes are great, for sure, but the mental upgrades are actually where you make your money. Fitness forces you to kill the inner victim inside of you. The iron does not care about your excuses, your bad day at work, or your genetics. Input equals output. So rather than worrying about the outputs, you have to put the inputs in. When you prove to yourself that you can transform your body through sheer will and discipline, you build undeniable self-trust. You realize that if you can conquer the gym, well, you can conquer your career, you can conquer your relationships, you can conquer your finances. You learn to regulate stress by putting your frustrations into the barbell instead of snapping at your family. So you have seen and heard the cost of doing nothing. It's slow, painful slide into mediocrity. So your incentives are on the upside, getting fit, multiplying your wealth, your time, your happiness, your energy. The choice is yours. I'm not going to make you do it. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to do that push-up for you. I can tell you to do that stuff, but I can't do it for you. Do not wait until Monday. Do not wait until the perfect time. Map out your training today. Guess what? On my website, there's programs. If you shoot me a message, I am infinitely happy to help you start your fitness journey free of cost, figuring out what works good for you. I have free programs online. I have tons of videos. I have tons of podcasts I can direct you to. And so there's really no excuse other than you want a healthier life or you don't. Why am I an evangelist for this lifestyle? Because I know what it's like, especially mentally, to not be in the best place. And physical training is one of the things that got me out of there. So why it would be selfish of me to save it all for me. So action creates motivation. There's no way of getting around it. So get your ass up, get moving, put the reps in, and your future self will thank you. No one's ever gotten more fit and be like, oh, I regret that so much. There's so many more people who regret not getting fit. Can you imagine being 60, 70, 80 and be like, fuck, I wish I didn't smoke in my 30s and 40s. I wish I didn't drink as much. I wish I went to bed at an earlier time. I wish I worked out more and took better care of my body. That's more likely to happen. And yes, there are still ways to enjoy your life hedonistically and still be fit and healthy. I expect most people to still drink a little bit, smoke a cigar here and there, but it's about balance. So, until you're ready to get started, then just keep listening to the show, because at least you're listening to it, so that's a great start. Most likely, you're the type of person who is into health and fitness. So you need to be sending this podcast to people who need that little spark. They've been thinking about it, but they're not ready to take that jump yet. These are the incentives of why they should do it. Until next time.